What's good, everybody? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of the Celebrity Junk. Any of you brothers who were living in the 80s, all right, 80s and 90s, you remember the great Al Toon, all right, and with the receivers of that day in the 80s and early 90s, you had Steve Largent, you had Jerry Rice, Tim Brown and guys like that, Sterling Sharp. But then there was Al Toon. Now Al Toon, unfortunately, was on the Jets, and we know that the Jets are a terrible organization. But he was a good receiver, man. He played 8 years. He had a lot of concussions, but he's a Hall of Famer, man. He did his thing in the league. Interestingly enough, he had a daughter. Okay, now as a young man, he had a daughter, and the daughter, who was formerly Molly Toon, became Molly Lilliard. All right, she was married to Royce Lilliard. Now, what's the interesting key here? The key to this is that Royce Lilliard is white, right? Royce Lilliard is white. Now, nothing wrong with black women dating or marrying white men or anything like that, because people marry outside of the races all the time. You can marry inside of the race. Now, what are we talking about? It appears that they were living in Scottsdale, and Royce had a weapon, discharged the weapon on his wife, Molly, the daughter of Al Toon, then discharged the weapon on himself. Now the child will grow up without a father. And this is a very sad story. I hate to see any of our people, whether they're in relationships with us or not. I don't know if Al Toon's wife was white or anything like that, but the situation is, this was a problem, okay? She had went to the University of Michigan. She did some great things. Looks like, everything was working out in her favor until this. She was even working for Aerotech in Arizona, which is, a great company. But my question is, what will the sisterhood say about this? Because there have been several incidents of Caucasian men abusing sisters. Now, we hear about it frequently and often when it's behind black men, and that has to be understandable. But what happens when these relationships concerning non-black men, and when they do this to black women, there is nothing to be, it seems like, to be gained from that, or nobody talks about this. The guy that she was dealing with, I'm pretty sure he wasn't like a white Pookie and Ray Ray. This guy not only took her out, but himself out. In this situation, how can we not say that sisters are in danger there? Where are we are the least protected group commentary regarding this? Here you have a black woman who has done everything right. And I think that what happens is that a lot of times that we have to call a spade and say that, men who have these problems or who are abusive, it can come from any area. All right? It can come from the black community. It can come from the white community. It can come from any of these communities. It's not just a black thing. It is not just a white thing. A bad man or a crazy man is a problem regardless. And I think that we've been painting the picture, and I've been getting on the same brothers for saying the same thing about sisters. Oh, well, sisters is crazy. Better get you a white girl. But who? But who? You have, if you are a person, if you can't vet people, you're gonna meet bad people of any nationality. We have to stop putting down other groups. And I'm not saying that she did this, right? But then again, a lot of times people will big up other people because they're Caucasian, and then you go around and you have the same issues. I don't know how many times, and I want to talk about this off the record, but on the record, because I am on the YouTube channel. I've talked to people in Uganda, and women who have went out there and dated Caucasian men. And I'm not saying all of them have had problems, but many times I've heard the sexual demands that these particular foreigners have requested from them, the down talking, the sense of entitlement. And some of those ladies have said, I thought that I was going to get this sort of treatment because the person was white. Not to mention, I feel at some points that they're treating me worse than even the African guys here. I'm not saying that's true for all, but it just goes to show you that we can't big up people because this person's white or she's black. Or no, I mean, obviously you're going to have, certain cultures and certain things are different. But a bad man is a bad man. And a bad woman is a bad woman. And what we need to do is stop the narrative that, okay, those people are better than this. Now we have problems, but at the same time, the sisterhood will be content in not even talking about this. Kind of trying to sweep it under the rug. Those women who really, are down with the whole swirling thing and open up your options thing. Well, do you not look at this as a potential problem? I know you want to say this is anecdotal, but if you look at, there's been a lot, many stories in the last 6 months pointing to Caucasian male aggression towards black women in relationships. Okay? So what is transpiring here? The same thing happened not long ago with the Seattle Seahawks guy. I even got his name. Okay? He got released. And again, that was getting swept underneath the rug. Chad Willard, And most of them who say you need to go and find a white man, they're going to be quiet on this. You have to be able to discern who's a good person, who's not. Who's crazy and who's not. It happens everywhere. I think that when we set our people, men and women, to be like, oh, well, you're going to get a better shake over there than over here. And then when you go over there, don't get a better shake. I also want to say this. For example, I had a housekeeper that just quit on us. In Uganda. Nice lady. Was paying her just to come 1 hour for 3 days a week. Paying triple or quadruple the amount of money. She goes to Abu Dhabi. Didn't tell me, didn't tell Jonita nothing. Just went. And we know what happens at Abu Dhabi. Now you're working for less money than you were getting, because you thought it was better over there. You were better off staying where you were at. Okay? And a lot of people are better off staying where they're at. They're better off. In a lot of cases, you're better off dealing with your own people. I know that's true for me. It might not be true for everybody like you guys think, but I believe it is. And we need to really stop this whole thing we got to go outside of ourselves and this is better. And then when things like this happen, then we want to sweep it underneath the rug. And it's really ridiculous. Because someone has lost their life and then nobody wants to bring to the attention of what women are suffering in IR relationships also. It's okay to talk about it in black relationships, but what are women suffering? And I honestly believe that a lot of women are not even reporting what's happening when they're dealing with other groups of guys. As if they would report it if they happened to them in black relationships. A lot of women won't report it. I would honestly believe that. I can't prove it. But I think a lot of women are in these IR relationships and they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to be embarrassed. The fact that they went out there and got white zaddy and then this happens. So what do you think, guys? It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Drunk. I really appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. Check out the Patreon. Check out the first comment pin at the top. And as you know, the buffoonery remains at an all-time high. I'm out.